Oh, it's extremely difficult, and I think it kind of goes back to my initial comment too about how the game has grown. Recruiting has, taken off. You've got younger coaches that are ambitious, that just have a lot of energy about them, and they become addicted to recruiting, and so it just makes for a very exciting, unique environment where there is no such thing as a bad game. You can't take your foot off the throttle. It's just around every corner somebody's going to want to beat you, and I think, probably a decade or so ago when there were probably a top 2, maybe top 3 teams in the OAC. Now I think it's starting to be top 6, top 7, even top 8. Where it's just at any given day there could be an upset, so to speak, on paper. But really around every corner there's a good game, and I think it's starting to get the notoriety that it deserves. I certainly think that the conferences like the NESCAC and the UAA kind of take the cake in that talk, but the OAC is certainly starting to creep up there with just the level of competition and the amount of teams that are getting recognized in the region. I think the NCAA polls are going to start to show more OAC teams nationally ranked. I think the committees are going to start to take notice of that if they haven't already. And so it's just become a much deeper conference. Mm-hmm. And I think, maybe jumping ahead a little bit here talking about scheduling, but, you have to constantly schedule difficult games if you want to prepare for the OAC. Mm-hmm. Again, maybe 10, 15 years ago, that wasn't the case, where the conference was a little bit easier to win games, and the pedigree has changed so much. So now you almost have to schedule difficult games if you want to match the competitiveness of the conference. So you can't take anyone for granted. Everybody wants to win, and again, it makes it that much more enjoyable.
So are your let's go there. When you build your schedule now, is it intentional that you pack on some hefty teams? Ohio Wesleyan, Carnegie Mellon, Kenyon, I saw this year, Hanover. Just you purposely make it that tough for you?
It is intentional, and I do get asked that all the time. Like, what are you doing with your scheduling? Why are you scheduling this, that, games? And go back to the comment about we want to operate at a high level. We want to continue to push the barrier, and I think if we want to be a top 10 contender, you're going to have to face teams like that. You're going to have to set yourself up for success that way by, hey, look, we do open with Kenyon. We do, last season we opened with a Calvin. We opened with a Hope. Yeah. You just have to test yourself all the time. And I think, too, with the nature of recruiting and the types of players that we bring in and the types of players that are in our conference now, they're used to playing at a high level. They're used to competing at the national stage or playing MLS Next or playing ECNL, and so they're just, I don't like to schedule easy games. I don't want to schedule a 9-0 game or an 8-0 game. I want to challenge us. I want our players to look at that and go, hey, we did play against a nationally ranked team, and we got to turn around and do it again. You have to do that to win a national championship. So why not test them early? Why not test them often? And so I think that's just kind of been our philosophy in scheduling, and if it helps us with strength of schedule, and if we don't end up winning the conference tournament, I think we can always look back at those and say, hey, those helped us, and I think that certainly helped us in 2019. We learned from that, and we want to continue to do that.
Yeah.